Tell us about black swans. What are they, and how do you deal with those in scenario planning?
Well, black swans have become popularized by Nassim Taleb in his book, The Black Swan. And these are really big, rare uncertainties and occurrences, right? So if you think about the Great Recession was a black swan to some regard because almost nobody planned for it. There was, if you looked at forecasts for retail and banking and the price of oil and everything else, it was all going up. The stock market was going up. Everybody said everything is great, right? Nobody saw that the housing market in America plus some of the fundamental understructure of the financial system was incapable of dealing with the housing market pricing at the time, and that burst of that bubble and the precipitation of the Great Recession created a black swan event where many things from employment to the stock market to global trade, because one of the things people don't realize that out of the Great Recession was that global trade was broken down because ships in China with American goods on them couldn't even get insurance. That was how tight the money supply was, right? And so there's all these things that were disrupted, and that was a pretty small black swan event, right? But it's infrequent, and black swans actually came from England because they had all white swans, and the black swan was kind of a myth. It was it was so infrequent that they didn't have any until they went to Australia and actually found a black swan. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. So some of them are, right? So there's black swans that are things like satellite Mageddon, where the sun has a solar burst that points itself straight at Earth and all of our satellite technology goes down. We have no GPS, we have no internet, and all kinds of communications are broken up, and we're kind of pushed back in the dark ages, maybe even including power grids going down for significant periods of time. We have asteroids or comets hitting the Earth, right? But there's also positive black swans, which people don't often think about, like the invention of quantum computing. So if quantum computing takes place, it is a fundamentally different technology than the silicon substrate stuff that's been done and built in Silicon Valley and elsewhere in the world for decades now. And so all of the companies that we think of, from Microsoft to Intel, all become irrelevant if there's a different company that comes up with quantum computing, because how you program and how you build them is completely different. So it's a whole new industry. It would be just like the 1970s all over again, but we would see a huge disruption of our existing computing infrastructure. So that's a very positive black swan. We're going to have faster computers, more security, and all kinds of other stuff, but to some degree less security, because those computers will be able to break any security that we did with the old computers. So there's a lot of disruptive things that happen, those black swans are things that it's very difficult to plan for in the scenarios, because if you say, okay, so all of these assumptions are kind of off the table if we're hit by an asteroid, right? So as much as we can think about all of these unthinkable things that we're already playing with and how they might evolve in the future, there are bigger things that are external forces kind of from the universe or from our discovery of things and how to control the universe, as in quantum computing, where it exists, but we're now figuring out how to make technology out of it. Those are going to change things on such a fundamental level that a lot of the other planning work kind of goes out the window. If they happen, you then have to redo your scenarios all over. Nothing that you assumed, those kind of trump all of your other work, and you have to start over again if you hopefully live through whatever the black swan was.